Centurion's servant healed. Widow's son raised. After finishing the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus entered the city of Capernaum. A centurion, a Roman soldier in charge of 100 or more men, heard about Jesus. He had a servant who was dear to him, who was sick and about to die. He sent elders of the Jews to Jesus, asking if he would come and save his servant. When the elders came to Jesus, they said, "Please help this man, for he is worthy. He loves our nation and has built our synagogue himself." So Jesus went with them. When he came close to the house, the centurion sent some friends to him, saying, "Lord, do not trouble yourself to come in, for I am not worthy to have you under my roof. That is why I did not come to you myself. Just say the word, and my servant will be healed. For I also am a man under the authority of another, and I myself am over other soldiers. To one I say, 'Go,' and he goes, and to another, 'Come,' and he comes." When Jesus heard this, he was amazed at the centurion, and he said to the multitude around him, "I have not found a greater faith, not even in Israel. I tell you that many will come from the east and the west and sit down with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven." Jesus turned to the messengers. "Go, it shall be done." Then the messengers returned to find the servant healed at the moment Jesus spoke. Next, Jesus went to the town of Nain. His disciples went with him, along with a great multitude. As they drew close to the city gates, they met a large funeral procession. The dead man was the only son of a widow, who was weeping. When Jesus saw her, he had pity on her, and said, "Weep not." He walked up and touched the coffin and said, "Young man, I say to you, rise up." The man sat up and began to talk, and Jesus gave him back to his mother. The people grew fearful and glorified God, saying, "A great prophet is among us. God has visited his people." And the account of this went out to all the people in Judea and all the region round about. The disciples of John the Baptist kept him informed about Jesus. John sent two of them to Jesus to ask, "Are you the one to come, or should we look for another?" At that time, Jesus was healing the blind and lame and those with evil spirits and diseases. He said, "Go, tell John what you have seen and heard. The blind now see, the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead are raised, and the poor have good news preached to them. Blessed is he who comes to me and accepts me as I am." The messengers left. And Jesus told the multitudes, "You did not go out in the wilderness to see a reed shaken by the wind, nor a man clothed in fine garments. Those types of people live in palaces. But you went out to see a prophet. I tell you that John is much more than a prophet. This is he of whom it is written, 'I send my messenger before your face. He shall prepare the way before you.' Among them who are born of women, there is none greater than John the Baptist. Yet he that is little in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. And if you are willing to understand it, he is the Elijah who was to come. He who has ears to hear, let him hear." Then all the people and the publicans who had been baptized by John glorified God. But the Pharisees and the lawyers rejected God's counsel. Neither had they been baptized by John.
Jesus said, "To what should I compare the men of this generation? They are like unsatisfied, demanding children who sit in the marketplace and say, 'We played music, but you did not dance. We cried, but you did not weep.' For John came eating no bread and drinking no wine, and you said, 'He has a demon.' The Son of Man comes, and you say, 'Oh, look, a glutton and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners.' But time will tell if you are wise."
Jesus is anointed by a sinful woman. One of the Pharisees invited Jesus to come to his house for a meal. A woman of the city found out where he was. She came to the house, bringing an alabaster cruse of oil. She wet his feet with her tears and wiped them with the hair of her head, and kissed his feet and anointed them with the ointment. When the Pharisee saw this, he thought, if Jesus were really a prophet, he would know what kind of woman this is touching him, that she is a sinner.
Then Jesus said, Simon, I must tell you something. A certain lender had 2 men who owed him money. He owed $500 and the other owed him $50. When they could not repay him, he forgave each one their debts. Which one of them will love him the most?
Simon said, I suppose the one that he forgave the most. Jesus said, You are right. Do you see this woman? I entered your house, and you gave me no water to wash my feet, but she has wet my feet with her tears and wiped them with her hair. You gave me no kiss, but she has kissed my feet continually since I came in. You did not anoint my head with oil. All things he should have done as a matter of common courtesy. Yet she has anointed my feet with ointment. Therefore her sins, which are many, are forgiven, for she loved much. But to whom little is forgiven, that person loves little. And he said to the woman, Your sins are forgiven. The others said to themselves, Who is this that forgives sins? Jesus said to the woman, Your faith has saved you. Go in peace.